Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another Saturday. If you are a new subscriber, new to the family, welcome to my OG subscribers. Thank you guys. So today we are going to talk about the PA school board exam, how to prepare for it. So if you are at this point where you're getting ready for the boards, congratulations. That means you're done with the program, you've passed your didactic year, you've passed your rotation, and you are at your final step to becoming a PAC. So you must be proud of yourself. I sure am proud of you. So what did I do to pass my boards? So for me, I did not want to wait too long to take my board exam in case, I failed and I needed to retake it. I wanted to give myself some time. I also wanted to be just done with PA school. I was so ready to become a PAC and start practicing. So I actually took my board exam a week after I was done with my PA school program and before graduation. I remember I was stressed out already, so I just wanted to continue being stressed out for a little longer and just be done with it. I took mine in May 22 to be exact, and it was Ramadan. For those of you who don't know what Ramadan is, it's the months where Muslims fast, and not only do we fast from food and water throughout the whole day, but we also fast from all, bad habits, all types of, all vices. So it was a perfect time for me. It meant like I can really focus on my exam and my studying and, strengthening my link with God. So it was just a perfect time for me. I did not mind, studying while I was fasting. I think it actually helped me because I was praying a lot to God at that time. So thank you, God. So what are the things that I used? What are the resources that I used? Just remember when you are, studying for your didactic classes, your classes during didactic year, you are essentially studying for the boards too. So whatever you're going to be tested on is what you've learned in class. You're not starting from scratch. It's not like I've never seen this before, I'm gonna start from scratch. No, it's just you've already learned all the material in didactic and in rotation, and now you're just reviewing things and relearning the things that you have forgotten or the things that were hard for you in didactic and rotations. You're fully focusing on them and just paying really extra attention and making sure you understand things. So what I used is I tried to stay away from using too many resources because I felt like I can get distracted, and if somebody explains it in a way and another person explains it in a different way, it would just confuse me. I get confused easily. So for me, I try to stick to 3 or 4 things, which I highly encourage. Having too many resources can just get distracting. I used the PANCE Prep Pearls, which I used through didactic. By the time I was studying for the boards, I've probably already gone through that whole book once between didactic and rotation. So it was kind of like a third review. It's really good at explaining things, and it's short and to the point, and it doesn't go into different things. So that's a really good review book. The second thing that I did was Roche questions. I think Roche questions were probably the best. If I could choose one thing, it would be Roche. The way you study for Roche is, I think the best thing is, if you are in didactic right now, I would say just start it now. You can do 10 questions a week on didactic here. For me, I started later. I didn't have Roche during didactic, so I didn't use it, but I kind of wish I had, because I felt like, man, if I had seen some of these questions in the past, it would have been nice. I would have had more time to study, and my score would probably have been better. I mean, it doesn't matter if you pass really, but I feel like if I started earlier, I would have probably been in like the higher percentage. So the way I used Roche was I started when I was doing rotations, and I would do like 10 to 30 questions per day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'll just take a break. Most days, like in my earlier rotations, I only did like 10 questions a day, because with Roche, if you miss a question, they have like the big explanation when you go back to review the questions that you missed. And I really wanted to study that and like really understand what they were saying, because I did not want to miss that question again or a question similar to that. So I did about 10 to 30 questions as the day permitted, the first few rotations. And then by the time I got to like the fourth rotation, I made a point where I told myself, you know what, I'll do 30 questions per day or 30 questions every other day. And you know, for some people, they can do it. They can really do 30 questions a day and review it the same day, and the next day they can do another 30 questions. But of course, for me, you know, trial and error, I was trying to see what works best. So I realized that it was better for me to do 30 questions today, and then tomorrow review the questions that I missed, and then the next day I'll do another 30. So every other day. That way I have time to review things, I'm not rushing to learn the material, and I had, you know, plenty of time to go through things. So throughout my last 4 rotations, I did 30 questions every other day, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sundays, I mean, I was on rotation, so I was enjoying my life until I got to the month and a half before the board exams. So by then I have done, I guess, over 1,000 questions. I think it was like doing 30 questions every other day for a period of 4 to 5 months. So that was plenty of questions. And then when we got to the end, right, it was my last semester of PA school, I started seriously studying a month and a half before my program was ending, because I wanted to take, I think our program completion was May 15, and I wanted to take my exam on May 22, which was the first date our class could take. So around April 15, April 20th, I think that's when I started seriously studying. So at that point, I wanted to go through all the rush questions, which not realistic, right? But I wanted to make sure I saw as many questions as possible. So I started doing 70 questions per day. It's a lot, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was waking up at 5:36, and then I was going to bed at 10:30, 11 p.m. And it was Ramadan, like I said earlier, so we were eating, you know, the first meal, the sahur meal, around 4:30, I think. So some days I just won't go back to sleep. Like I would eat my sahur, I'll pray, and then I would take my laptop, I'll go to the living room. It was during COVID time, so we didn't have, you know, classmates to study with or any other person to study with. So I would go to YouTube and I'll pull up those study with me videos. I'll have it play in the background. So in a way, it made me feel like I was studying with someone. And some of those videos have like study with me sessions that are 8 hours. Some have study with me sessions that are 4 hours. So I always went for the ones that were 8 hours. There was this guy in particular, I don't remember his name, but he was, I think, a medical student in England or something. And he would have like study with me sessions that were like 8 hours long, which was perfect for me. So I'll just turn it on, I'll have my desk. It feels like I'm studying with somebody. When he's taking breaks, I'll take breaks, I'll stretch, I'll come back. And then literally this is how my day was. Turn on those videos at around 6 a.m. I'll study with him, taking breaks, you know, 5 minute, 10 minute, walking around, stretching, and then I'll study up to like 1 p.m. I will go pray, I'll go outside, go for a walk, give myself half an hour to 1 hour break, and then I'll come back. And then I'll study again from 2-ish to like 6 p.m. non-stop. Taking, you know, 5 to 10 minutes break every 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then I'll take a break around 6 p.m. and then I will go, you know, eat, exercise again, go for a walk, chill with my family members, and then I'll go back to studying again around 7:30, and then I'll study up to 10-ish p.m. and then I'll watch some videos, some comedies, and then I'll start all over again the next day. It was basically a month and a half of that, in a way, before I took my board exam. Our program, my classmates, we did a session, like we did a review session with Joe Gilboy, Gilboy is his name, his last name, I think. And he does a PANCE review session, and it's like a 1 week of boot camp. It's like 8 a.m. I think to like 5 p.m. So I did that. It was like a crash course, and it was really good. If you are able to do that, do it with your classmates. He probably like one of the best review sessions that I was in. He has video recordings. He records the lectures. If you miss something, you can go back and listen to it. He has like audio sessions, and sometimes when I would go on those little walks, you know, the anxiety is kicking in, right? Like you want to maximize every minute, and you tell yourself every minute wasted is every minute I could have been studying. So to not feel that way, I would just, you know, listen to the audio while I go for my walk, while I'm exercising. So it was literally just non-stop studying and getting like an hour or two of full uninterrupted, no studying breaks per day. And I'm so glad I did that, because I just went full in, focused, and I was, you know, done. And I took my exam like a week after my program ended, and I was done with it. So the last 2 weeks before my exam, I tried to do questions to mimic the board exam. I tried by doing 100 questions every other day, and then I'll give myself a whole day to review everything. The questions that I missed and the questions that I guessed. The ones that I was so sure about, I would not go back and look at them. But the ones that I guessed, I wanted to make sure it was like, it wasn't just like a random guess, and it was like an educated guess in case that question comes back again. And then Rosh is really good at explaining things. So if it was a random guess, and then I'll read the explanation, then I will understand that topic, right? Or like that section, or what that question was about. So I started by doing 100 questions, and then I did 3 sessions of like 100 questions per day, every other day. And then I did 150 questions per day, every other day. And then I did 200 questions per day, every other day. I worked it up to 300 questions. So the last 4 days before my exam, I made sure I did 2 full practice exams, which was just rush questions, and I just, you know, mixed them up, and I chose 300 questions. I wanted to build the stamina, because when you are taking a very long exam, if you did not build the stamina, then you're going to get exhausted, you know, midway through the exam, and then you're just rushing through it. So the board has 300 questions. It's a 5-hour exam. You have 60 questions. It's 5 blocks of 60 questions each, with 45 minutes of break. So you have 1 minute per question. So you have to be able to go through a question, whether it's, you know, a paragraph, a word, 1 word long question. Your mind has to be able to, you know, read, understand, and answer that question in 1 minute. So in order to do that for the actual exam, you have to prepare ahead of time. Like, I cannot emphasize on the importance of building your stamina. You can just go from 0 to 300. You have to start by, remember I said I started studying rush questions during rotations by starting with 10 to 30 questions, and then building it up, starting by the time, you know, I was getting close to the board, 70 questions, then 100 questions, then 150, then 200, then 300. At least you have to do at least 2 full exams before your boards. And the other thing I did is the NCCPA website has I think it's the NCCPA website. They have a practice exams that you can pay for. It's $50. I paid for one, and I took it, and just kind of like a predictor of what section that I needed to work more on. When I took the exam, it doesn't show you like the exact questions that you missed, but it will show you where you fall on percentage wise. I think for me, infectious disease was like one of the ones that I had to go back and, you know, re-study, because I scored below the average, the national average. And, you know, if I hadn't done that 50 question exam, I don't think I would have been able to know that I was not good at, you know, I wasn't doing so well at the infectious disease section. So it's good for things like that. Now, do you have to do it? Absolutely not. If you have the time and you have the money, I would say, you know, go for it. It's an extra resource that you can utilize. That being said, rush. If you can choose one thing, again, it's rush. Okay, so now you have done your studying, you're ready. It's, you know, days before your exam. The last few days before your exam, like the last 2-3 days before your exam, try to do, you know, light studying. At least the last 2 days you can do light studying. The day before your exam, do not study. Like, just, you have studied enough, you're ready, you feel like you can squeeze in a little more information, but honestly it doesn't help. You're so stressed out, you're just stressing yourself more. You want to give your mind a break, you want to give your mind time to relax, and just, you know, be clear and ready for that very long, exhausting exam. And if you tire yourself the day before, it's gonna be so hard for you to focus on the day of the exam itself. Getting a really good night's sleep, going and having fun with your friends, just doing something that you enjoy that has nothing to do with school. Those are the things that would help you on the day of the exam. So the day of the exam itself, wake up early if your exam is around 8 or 9. Have a really good breakfast, take snacks and water with you. You get breaks, use your breaks. Honestly, like, use your breaks, because it's just, there's no way you can push through 300 questions in one sitting. You're going to get tired. So time yourself well. Don't spend more than 1 minute per question. Now, there are questions that are so quick that you can answer in like 30 seconds. Read the question and answer in 30 seconds. Those are nice because it will give you a little bit of a fluff time when you go to the questions that have, you know, more things to read. But try to not spend more than 1 minute per question, because you don't want, the last thing you want to do is you run out of time and now there are questions that you could have potentially answered well, but you didn't get to because you were running behind on time. So, you know, no more than 1 minute per question. Take your breaks. Try to not stress too much. I know it's easier said than done, but honestly, the day of the exam day, it doesn't help stressing out. At that point, whatever happens, happens. Just go through your questions, just tell yourself, you know what, I think I'm good, I think I answered right, and just hope for the best at that point. When you're done with the exam, you are going to feel like you failed. And that is normal. I cried when I get out of my exam, and I was like, I called my mentor and I literally told her, oh my God, I think I failed. Like, I guessed on so many, I wasn't sure about things. Some of the questions I was able to narrow it down to 2, but then I didn't know which one it was, and I just had to take an educated guess. And I was literally 99% sure that I failed. But the thing is, everybody feels that way, and almost everybody passes the board exam. You will pass, even if you feel like, oh my God, there's no way I did well on this exam. You will pass and you will become a PAC. So those are the tips that I have for you. Those are what I used for me. I don't think there is, I'm trying to think of if there's any other resources that I used, but honestly, I can't think of anything else. Roche Review, number 1, if I could read it right. Roche Review, PANCE Prep Pearls. Joe Gilboy's session, if you could afford it, I highly recommend it. So good at explaining, so good at giving you, you know, tips and ways to remember things. He just has so many resources, audios that you can listen to when you're working out or you're out. So I highly recommend it if you're able to do his review session. And what else? And then, I mean, you've studied during didactic and rotation year as well. So you are absolutely somewhat prepared for that exam, even before you fully go into studying for it. So that being said, I wish you guys all the best. I know you guys are gonna do great, so hang in there. Go and get that C, okay? This is the only time we like C's. We hate C all the other days, but when you get that PAC, we like that. So go get the C, and I hope to see you guys next Saturday with another video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for the support and the love, and I always read your comments. So go ahead, and if you have anything to add, or if you have any suggestion, or if you have a topic that you want me to talk about in the future, go ahead and comment below. Thank you. Bye.